From Nutrien Ag Solutions, I'm Senior Meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your Canadian Prairie weather story for Monday, August 21st, 2023. We'll start off looking at the satellite picture, and we've got a really unique setup across North America right now. We've got hurricane, formerly hurricane, then tropical storm, and now really kind of disintegrating Hillary that made its way up from the eastern Pacific into southern California, bringing a lot of flooding rains to parts of the desert southwestern United States. We've also got this extremely anomalous ridge of high pressure parked across the central U.S. We're beginning a multi-day heat wave here in the Midwest, where I'm recording this video right here in Champaign, Illinois. And then kind of surrounding that, we've got strong jet stream flow, this ring of fire setup where we've got multiple jet stream disturbances that are going to be kind of lifting up into the prairie, riding over the top of that ridge and bringing some scattered showers and storms and some corridors of some heavier precipitation. So you see this tight swirl right here. This is not actually, Hillary. This is not the tropical storm circulation. This is actually an area of low pressure, an upper level low parked off the Pacific coast that's helping to kind of initially enhance the precipitation from Hillary across the southwestern U.S., increasing that flooding risk, but then also helping to take Hillary and then lift its remnants along with several other disturbances over the top of that ridge right through the prairie. So ongoing, again, several areas of showers and embedded thunderstorms anywhere from parts of Ontario through southern Manitoba, along the U.S. border with Alberta and Saskatchewan, and then down into the western U.S. Kind of this ring of fire again, where we've got embedded jet stream disturbances helping to bring some showers and thunderstorms to the region. Also bringing some cooler temperatures, some single digits to be found in parts of central and northern Alberta, around 10 degrees into the lower teens across the remainder of the prairie. So generally on the, cooler to near average side as we talk about the second or third week of August. The heat, of course, confined to the central U.S., down where we've got the, the main axis of the ridge here with the cooler temperatures associated with the ring of fire up to the north, kind of surrounding that. Now, I threw this forecast in here. We're not talking about Hillary impacting the Canadian prairie. Yes, the disorganized remnants will kind of, sweep through the region in some fashion or another, but it's kind of funny to look at the weather models here forecasting the track of Hillary over the next several days. This is just not something you see every day. To start off with, a hurricane or a tropical cyclone of some kind across California, extremely rare. Funny enough, I was just asked about this at Ag in Motion. If I go back about a month when I was up there, somebody in the audience during one of the dinner talks asked me about hurricanes in the west coast of the U.S., whether that happens or not. And so, again, it was something we said is technically possible, but quite rare, and they're typically weakening as they come in, and that is exactly what we saw. But, again, very funny to be looking at a forecast track here, which is typically down here across the southeastern U.S., watching these hurricanes come in and do something like that, but instead we're watching it swing through the prairie. I made a joke on Twitter called this a classic Alberta Clipper, but I'm going to make this video 20 minutes long if I don't just hurry up and get into what you actually are here to hear about, which is the forecast. Who's going to get rain over the next 7 days? Who got it over the last 7 days? That's what we're looking at here. Kind of a very broad, smoothed out map here. But again, showing the story here, most of the heavier rain north of Highway 16, generally dry as you head south of Highway 16, excluding a couple areas of some lighter shower and thunderstorm activity earlier in the week. As we look at the next 7 days from the European ensemble, again, you can pick out the pockets of heavier rain. We've got one here across, north of Calgary up to Edmonton, across Grand Prairie, kind of north and northwestern portions of Alberta. And then another one here kind of lists from maybe Medicine Hat up toward Saskatoon into portions of central Manitoba. And then kind of between that, there will be shower and thunderstorm activity, but there's a pretty strong signal for these two corridors where the rain is likely to be the heaviest, the best chance for more than half an inch to maybe upwards of an inch or so of rainfall. Now here's the jet stream setup. Again, here's the ridge parked across the central United States. Here's the ring of fire, the strong flow coming around that. We've also got a trough parked off the Pacific coast of British Columbia, there. So a couple of, coastal lows, and then this strong flow coming over the top of the ridge, and that is what's driving the chance for multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms across the Canadian prairie. As I put this into motion, the pattern doesn't stick around forever. It's what we've got for maybe the next 3 to 4 days before we do see some big changes across the region, and that is going to be in the form of seeing some ridging, much weaker jet stream flow as we get into the weekend and early next week. I'll kind of step through time here. This is your Monday into Tuesday. We get into Wednesday. This is when that coastal low kind of moves ashore and traverses the prairie as we get toward the end of the week, and this kind of brings the rainfall chances to an end. As we get toward the weekend, this is your Saturday and Sunday, we're talking about a high over low setup, and I'll talk about that more in just a moment and what that means for us. Timing out the waves of precipitation across the region and when it's likely to be the heaviest, here's your look for Monday morning. This is what we already saw on the radar. We'll head through Monday afternoon into Monday night. As we go through the overnight, this is when you'll expect to see some heavier rain and maybe some thunder moving into southern Alberta and southwestern Saskatchewan, an area that badly needs some of this moisture. So you'll finally get in on some of this overnight into Tuesday morning. This is your Tuesday afternoon. This is now getting into Tuesday night. That first wave moving off to the east. We've still got that next low that comes in from the Pacific as we get into the mid and late part of the week. So here's your Wednesday morning. This is when we get another chance for showers and storms across Alberta, moving into Saskatchewan. This is now overnight Wednesday. Heavier rain likely across central Alberta. This is now Thursday morning. This is Thursday afternoon. This takes us into Thursday night, Friday morning. This second low now moving into Manitoba and then on into Ontario as we get into Friday and Saturday. This really is when we start to shut things down. Can't rule out a couple scattered, maybe isolated showers and storms to start off the weekend, especially off to the east across Manitoba, but likely looking at a drier weekend across the prairie, probably a hotter weekend across the prairie. And then how long that hotter and drier window lasts, that's a big question mark here. The European model right now wants to bring a crashing front in here as we get into maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, August 29th and 30th, maybe bringing cooler and wetter weather back into the forecast across the prairie, but not something I'm willing to say with any certainty here, and I'll again show you why that is. Looking at just verbatim, the European on the left, the GFS on the right, total precipitation over the next 7 days. You can see the corridors of heavier rain, again, across northern and western, or I should really say central into western portions of Alberta. It's really the northern extent of the prairie, the ag land across there. But, Grande Prairie, Peace River, Edmonton, north of Calgary, that's where you'll likely see the heavier rain. A little lighter as you head to the south of that, but still the potential across southern Alberta into southwestern Saskatchewan for some corridors of heavier precipitation, especially late Monday night into Tuesday. And then again, some heavier rain possible as you make your way further to the east as well. Likely going to be in isolated or at least scattered fashion, though. So as we take a look at the probability of picking up a half an inch or more of rain over the next 5 days, this will take us through the weekend, or into the weekend at least. Again, where you see the red shading, that's where it's closer to that 100% chance, 90 to 100% chance of picking up a half an inch of rain between now and Saturday. Heaviest right here, and then that secondary corridor from southern Alberta into central Saskatchewan. Other areas, you're still going to see shower and thunderstorm activity, just not as highly likely that you'll see that concentrated area of heavier precipitation, much more likely to see isolated to scattered showers and storms. Some folks get a nice drink, other folks likely going to be disappointed. Now, as we talk about where things are going over the next 7 to 10 days plus, this is why I have to kind of pause things as we get to the hot, dry pattern this weekend. We developed this high over low pattern. I'll take it through time here and just show you this is as we get started. The ridge is here over the central U.S. We've got two troughs here, fast flow coming over the top of the ridge. We're active and we're stormy, and it's a little bit cooler across the prairie to get the week started. If I take these drawings off and take it quickly here through the midweek into the late part of the week, that trough gets out of here. We develop this high, which I'm saying this right here, over the low. And that means the jet stream flow kind of comes over that ridge, down around the trough here, and it really doesn't want to move much. Something powerful has to come in and blow this block apart before we're really going to start to see storm systems once again traversing, easily across the prairie. So we turn hot and dry this weekend into early next week. We'll have to talk on Monday about how quickly we'll shift out of that hot and dry pattern as we get into the weekend into early next week. So that's what we've got. Kind of looking at this week, a little cooler, a little wetter, corridors of heavy rainfall. We get into the weekend early next week, hotter and drier across the prairie. Here's a look at those temperatures. A sliding 5-day window here as we head through the next 7 to 10 days. Again, cooler to start off this week. Heat returns over the weekend into the first few days of September. Here's what that looks like here in Calgary. Again, those highs right around 20 as we head through Thursday, back into the upper 20s to near 30 degrees as we get into the weekend. Same thing here in Edmonton, Saskatoon, very similar look. Again, on the cooler side, or at least, mild compared to where we're headed as we get toward the weekend here early this week. Regina, very similar, 28 for the high. Quite warm tomorrow, 25 on Wednesday, 25 Thursday, 23 on Friday. Back up to around 30 degrees over the weekend into early next week. Winnipeg, very similar as well. Kind of riding the wave here as storm systems traverse the region. Cooler today with a high of 17, 26 on Wednesday, 23 on Thursday and Friday. Back to the upper 20s as we get into the weekend.